kid, I just be smoking on OG. These niggas don't really know me. I'm at the grow house, I got like 20 pieces. I just be trying to stay low key.
Tony, thank you so much for having me on. I'm super excited to talk with you. After the 420 event that Green Believers have put on, I was just like, Miss Pratt, so many phenomenal women in the cannabis industry. And I believe that people need to know their stories. So I definitely had to invite you to come out, but I just want to ask you before we get into things, how are you? Because you look gorgeous.
Well, thank you. You are so sweet. I am good. I told my sister last night I'm on the COVID cusp. And that means emotionally, I don't have any space for shenanigans and foolishness. I have to keep myself centered in gratitude, in love, and coming through something. And so I am well, but I'm always, I'm not having it today. No, ma'am, I'm not having it. But it's all good. It's all good.
Well, I love it. The protection of just like your emotional and mental and physical health is definitely showing because you have a glow, honey.
Well, thank you. And I just got back from running, so.
Also, look at that. That's some sweat glistening.
That's it.
I love it. Toni, you have such an infectious smile and energy. And
thank you.
Just thank you. Thank you for coming and blessing me with your presence.
Oh, I feel the same way.
Yes. So Toni, you own 4 Leaf Consulting.
Yes.
And that is a cannabis consulting firm.
It is.
So what exactly does that entail?
Well, first of all, I have to give a shout out to my girlfriend, Monique Jackson Fitzgerald, who really got me into this and started me in this.
Okay,
so,
Monique.
Yes. Snaps to Monique. So even though she's gone off to the creative side, I really wouldn't be in this industry but for her. And so we started 4 Leaf Consulting together in 2016. And then she went off a year afterwards to be on, like I said, the creative end. And for me, what started it was I just couldn't believe no one could tell me how to get into the cannabis industry. At that time, there were no steps, and everything has a process. Everything has particular steps. And so I would see all of this crap and I said, oh my God, I'm a lawyer. And if I can't get it, what is the average person going to do? And so I was researching. I took that Oaksterdam class. I took all of that kind of stuff. There was one class that I took that brought me like closer to where I wanted to be. But out of that, I kind of developed this practical approach for getting into the cannabis industry and a practical approach to what you need to do to get in the cannabis industry.
Right.
So my practice is different because I am very much transparent. I'm upfront. I'm going to tell you what you need to do. I'm not going to sugarcoat it, but I'm going to encourage you. And so we just look at practically, what do you need to do to get it all done? The other thing that I like to do is I like synergy of people. And so if I know somebody who maybe needs some help or needs some revenue or needs some capital, I'm going to hook you up with somebody I know who maybe has something that you need. So I'm really about making the relationships in the industry. I do it all the time, and making sure that 4 Leaf is a total 360 kind of cannabis firm. So we're not just talking about regulations, we're talking about business practices, we're talking about operational, we're talking about using my network of vetted vendors. Because Patarina, in this industry is some shysty, shady folks out there.
It's a lot that goes on. It is.
And so wanting to make sure that I give you the people that I use and have been using for the last 4 years and feel confident that they're going to do the best thing for you. So that's what we're all about. I also am of counsel with a law firm called Nano Law, and my
Nano
partner
Law.
is Nano Law, NANO. My partner is Eugene Kim, and Eugene has a background in startups, and so it's perfect. So we specialize in business formation and everything on that end, and so it's just a great synergy to put the operational stuff and also the business formation and startup entity stuff. So that's what we're all about.
I love it. It's almost like you're the big sister in the industry, helping people like from the entry point all the way to the expansion aspect.
Absolutely.
Entry point to execution to expansion. And I think that's beautiful. The 3 E's, all encompassing. You are a one-stop shop for any person looking to enter into the cannabis industry. And that's amazing.
Absolutely.
That is amazing. That is not an easy feat. And it's true, you know, like I feel like the cannabis industry in general, it's like it's a very unique industry. Mm-hmm. Like for our industry, it's that new industry. You get what I'm saying? Like it's the industry where we saw it become legalized. Mm-hmm. So the rules are constantly being formed, they're constantly evolving, they're constantly changing, and you've got to keep up. It is not for the lighthearted. It is not for somebody who needs things spelled out for them, mm-hmm. because 9 times out of 10, what the answer was yesterday, it's not going to be today.
Right. And so, especially in LA. Woo, especially in LA.
In Los Angeles. And Los Angeles is very fast paced. Mm-hmm. And like you said, there's a lot of, so on top of like this like rocky foundation, right? Because it's still being cemented. Mm-hmm. So on top of that, like you said, there is this underlying shiesty type of scandalous energy that can sometimes, you know, just be laced within the cannabis industry. So being able to connect yourself with a big sister of the industry like yourself, you know, the mentor, right. It's just necessary.
Absolutely.
And I think that with you being a woman of the Afro diaspora, it's just like that extra layer of just so much that a person has to deal with. And that's, you know, so within that, I do kind of just want to ask you, within your personal journey in the cannabis industry, cementing 4 Leaf Consulting and your partnership with Nano Law, and just, you know, emerging as Toni Forge in the cannabis industry, like what has that journey been like for you as far as just like trials and tribulations?
You know, it's so funny. I was thinking about that just happened. The runs are a beautiful thing. Walking is a beautiful thing, because that's kind of how I breathe, center myself. And I was in a meeting this week with a very, very big cannabis company. And I'm talking to them, and they're telling me, no, that's not the way it goes. And just very dismissive. And I said, yes, this is the way it goes. And this is, you know, the ordinance that says it. And I texted over there. And to be honest, I think at the beginning of this, and sometimes Black women, we have this imposter syndrome. Like we think we're not supposed to be there, and we always have to check ourselves, and we're doing our work and P's and Q's, and everything has to be perfect in this. And I'm just going to say this, those white boys out there ain't checking shit. Okay, they're not thinking about something. I have this statement, and sorry that if I offend anybody, but I said nothing has more confidence than a mediocre white man. Nothing. And they go into this space with all knowing, all power, and then sometimes entitlement, and then sometimes we have to, you know, lower ourselves and I don't do that anymore. I come upright. I come to the table. I come with my fully developed self. My girlfriend, Ebony, and I always say, we know this shit. We absolutely do. And the stuff we don't know, we don't have the ego not to say we don't know, but we'll find out for you. Yes. And so my personal journey has been, I never forget when Monique left, I cried for 4 days in a row. 4 days when she left the practice. I thought, can I do this? how am I going to do it? She's the one who kind of brought me in. How am I going to take the baton and run? But I've done just that. I took that baton, I put it under my arm, and I was FloJo. Okay.
Hit the ground running.
Get the ground running. And I expanded. And I'm so proud of that from a personal journey, because I think so many times as Black women, we doubt ourselves. We feel we have so much. We got the home life, we got the personal, we got the society. It's a lot.
And the trauma that you're trying to constantly overcome from things you didn't know when you were younger.
Constantly. But the good thing about that is I went to go sit on somebody's couch for decades. So that is on the back burner. Okay?
Therapy for Black women. Therapy for Black women. I'm here for it.
I've dealt with all of that trauma, and that's on the back burner. But one thing I didn't deal with is my seat at the table and how I'm worthy, smart, accomplished, knowledgeable. And it takes somebody to remind you of that. And my reminder is my sister. I am very close to my sister. And every time that I'm feeling a particular way, she always says, do you know how brilliant you are? Do you know what you've done? Do you know when you were in corporate America, all of those things you were the first at? And so this has really helped my personal journey in terms of, I know I'm supposed to be here. I know I'm supposed to be of service. That's what COVID did for me. It really grounded me and helped God speak to me about what my place is on this earth. And my place is to be of service to people of color. Now, I must help everybody, but my particular place is of all people of color. If I can help them in this space, that's what I'm going to do. And so I do a lot of pro bono work. And I also do, work where I charge. That's how I got to eat and pay a mortgage.
Yeah.
I'm really
so it's a cycle, though. You give to receive, and you give to receive, and you give to receive.
Absolutely. And, I was also telling my girlfriend, Ebony, my grandmother used to always tell me, you cannot go through this world with a balled up fist. Nothing can go in or out. You always have to have your
grandma
hand
knew
open.
what she was talking about.
She absolutely did. My grandmother with a 4th grade education was the most knowledgeable woman and the most impactful woman of my life.
But see, intuition, you get what I'm saying? Yes. Like there's always 2 forms of information. You have the intuition that we all inherently have, and then you have education, which we get through the systems that we have created as humans. But they are both so valid. So grandma may have had that 4th grade level education, but she had the intuition of many, many, many years.
She did. And just so much insight. And that's what I hope to pass along to people in my journey of life, with what can I help you with? What can we do to uplift you and your business and social equity, all those things. So that's what I'm pretty much passionate about.
I love it. And I see it when you speak. It's like, it's a lot, like it's a lot. Like I'm just
I can be a lot sometimes. I'm over the top. I'm a lot.
No, but it's like in the best of ways. Like I'm over here fueled up and fired, and I'm not even a part of 4 Leaf Consulting. I'm like, yeah, we about to get it. Yeah, we about to. And I'm like, sheesh, like you just got this fire in your eyes and in your voice. And it's like, I love to see that. Like, I love to see that for you. Like I said, you have this glow. You came on, I said, wow, like she is just, woo. It's a whole experience. Like Toni Forge is an experience. And I'm just so grateful.
Sometimes good or bad, but an experience nonetheless.
Duality. But listen, duality. We are not trying to be perfect. We are trying to be poised, baby.
Exactly.
I love it. So with all of this excitement and expansion, I do have to ask you, what's next? Like, what is your 5-year trajectory? And I know 5 years is a lot.
That's a lot. I haven't even thought about that. My goal in this space has always been to teach at the community college level about cannabis. And I've been trying to do that. There's been some roadblocks.
I can imagine.
I'm putting it out on the universe, and I'm going to continue it. I did in 2019 a town hall meeting with Southwest College, and I was exposing the community about cannabis. Our communities are very I don't want to say closed mind, but we have a reason to be, because our communities have been really impacted by the war on drugs and impacted by cannabis and crack and everything else. So I get it. And so what I wanted to do in that with a whole team was to really talk about cannabis in general, so people wouldn't have this negative stigma attached to it. And that's what I really want people to realize. And that's what I would want to do in 5 years. I would like to have some kind of community classes, either at Trade Tech, Southwest. Absolutely, educating people. There's so many ancillaries industries in cannabis. People don't get that. This is a, field that's going to really produce and create a lot of jobs in the space. And I hate that we're never at the forefront of people of color because of that. Because we haven't been exposed to all the knowledge surrounding
and the resources
cannabis.
and all of those things.
Absolutely. And so 5 years, I hope that I am teaching, that I have a whole program in cannabis throughout the community college district or the UC system or something, where I'm educating people about this plant, because this plant is wonderful. I just took care of my mother yesterday, 86 years old, and I use mother is on it. And I was rubbing her down with some cannabis oil, and she said, this is the only thing that works for me. The only thing that works for me. And I said,
a lot of people have that sentiment.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
And it could help so many others if they just were open to it and they were knowledgeable, and we got past the stigmas. But that's where people like yourself come in at. That educational people. Well, you're more so building the people that would go on to, educate, but it's all an ecosystem within itself. And it's
Absolutely. So that is my 5 year, what I would love to be doing. That's what I would love to be doing.
I love it. And so I think that that's an amazing goal. And I cannot wait until we have a follow-up session. And I'm like, okay, so you're in 40 different community colleges. How does it feel?
Yes.
So I do have a final question for you, Toni, and that would be on a personal level. What's next for you? What is next for Toni Forge?
You are asking the tough questions that I haven't even thought about on a personal level.
Listen, I said I gotta know the woman behind 4 Leaves.
Wow, I really haven't thought about on a personal level. I think the reason why I haven't thought about it, because I do self-work every day. Every single day of my life, I do self-work.
It's just ingrained.
It is
in the lifestyle.
It is a lifestyle, because when you in the early part of your life have been unhealthy, mentally, spiritually unhealthy, I come from a family of Capricorns. So I'm a
Capricorn rising. Yes.
All of the females, except for maybe 2 in my family, are Capricorns. My mom, my sister, they're all Capricorns. So you know how that dynamic
What are you?
is. I'm a Capricorn. Yeah.
And I love that. A cap house?
Ooh, the cap house. That's a lot of energy.
That's all cardinal energy.
Absolutely. And we hit the ground running. We are up that hill. You can't stop us, button heads with the horns. I mean, it's a trip.
Right.
And I didn't want to be that way all of my life. And after I got divorced, I really just said, I need to intuitively look at how I got here with this person. And my therapist always says that relationships are a reflection of what you feel about yourself. And I said, ooh, that's ugly. So let me see about myself. And I did the self work, and it's been wonderful. And I live such a full life now in terms of I'm open to people. I embrace new ideas. I'm not afraid to say I'm wrong. I'm not afraid to say I don't know. I don't, hold on to things. I let it go. And, you know, I try to really live my life. The most impactful book I ever read for my life was The Four Agreements. And I try to live
a
my
beautiful
life
book.
as the Four Agreements, which,
It
you know,
is.
can be challenging.
Absolutely.
And so that's what the I guess what's next for me is to keep at the pace that I'm going. Self-care, self-love, real boundaries, and expansive vision of what I want for people of color. I've been really doing a lot of work in terms of voter suppression. That has been so important to me. So
And what
that's
is it
what
called? What is it called?
voter suppression.
What is?
What's
Oh,
happening
voter
was,
suppression. Yeah,
yeah,
yeah, yeah.
trying to suppress our vote, all of these laws that are going all
Yes.
around the country with
Yes.
that. So I think that's what my thing is, and to really just uplift women in cannabis here in California, and to keep on that journey, to be of service, to help what I can, and just to keep trying to be a bright light. That's what I try to be,
And
girl.
that
Oh,
you
I try to be
are,
a bright light.
Toni. That you are. I'm telling you. I'm just
Thank
listening to
you.
you, and I'm like, yeah, you got it. You got it. I
Thank
think
you.
you have this life thing figured out, and I'm just super excited for the legacy that you
Mhm.
are living. It's not even that
Mhm.
you're building, but it's that you're living. Both
Thank
on a
you.
and it's so interesting too because your professional and your personal is so intertwined. You get what I'm saying? It's like you strive to continue making your seat at the table, and inherently within that you're making a seat at the table for others that look just like you. And so it's so
Absolutely.
beautiful when the path that you're living is just, it's like it becomes an ecosystem. Like you are the ecosystem. Like the more that you are investing into yourself, by default it invests into the community, and it invests into your purpose, and it invests into your professional. And it's like that's magical. Black woman magic. And it's just, it's amazing. I just want you to know that
Oh,
you
thank
are
you.
iconic, and
Oh, thank
I'm
you.
I'm excited. I'm excited for you, and
Thank
it's
you.
very inspirational. As a 26-year-old woman, I'm just like, can I be Toni Forge when I grow up?
Girl, it's a lot of work. It's been a lot of work to get there. But you know, my mother always told us, you know, my brother and sister and I, that you're only here because you are standing on the shoulders of all those that have come before you. And so as a family, my mother always, you know, instilled this in us, this sense of drive, purpose, and your Black community. And you have an obligation when you make it to bring people along. All my siblings are professionals, but all of my
Because I
siblings
got
have
that
brought,
Capricorn energy. That's
that's the
why.
Capricorn, that's the Capricorn. But all of my siblings have brought everybody along with them. That
I
I can
love it.
say, you know, I really respect them. There's not a person that they haven't touched, that they haven't mentored. They have never said, oh, you know, crabs in a barrel syndrome. That just doesn't exist in my
I
world
love
and
it.
in my family. And
Yeah.
that's one thing that I'm proud of. It's really the legacy of my parents, my grandmother, and to us, to
Yeah.
keep that going, to make sure you provide of service for your community. And that's what I'm really all about.
I love it. I love it, and I see it. Well, I just want to thank you, Toni, for sitting down with me and just
Thank
giving us
you.
insight and reflection into who you are, the woman behind Four Leaf Consulting. And I'm pretty sure that everyone who is going to listen to this is going to be as inspired as I am. You know,
Oh,
like,
good.
and I'm just really excited. Like, what are ways that we can find you? So I know you have Four Leaf Consulting. Is there any other ways that we can plug in with you?
Yeah, on my Instagram, which is Toni Forge, and Facebook, Toni Forge, and it's the
And
number
Toni, that's
four,
okay.
Four Leaf Consulting on IG.
Yes. Okay. And then for Toni Forge, it's
N
TONI
I Forge.
FORGE.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, I am super excited, guys. You definitely should plug in with Toni, both on her personal and also at Four Leaf Consulting, because this woman is just phenomenal. It's phenomenal.
Oh.
Look at me. I'm stuttered over my words. Phenomenal. Okay. And
Thank you.
I'm honored. Thank you
Oh, it was
for
such a
everything
pleasure.
that you are doing for the community.
Oh,
Thank you
thank
for
you so
being
much.
the community. Like, and for doing the work. I'm like, shoot, let me go grab my inner child workbook and let me get some work done because, like I
Girl,
said, I'm trying to be Toni Forge when I grow up.
let me tell you, when you get that work done, you gonna be free, okay? You gonna be free. And
I'm
I
waiting for it.
started at around 35. So you ahead of me. I started around
But what's
35.
crazy, Toni, is that you look 35. That's the thing about it.
Thank you so
That's the
much.
thing
I love
about
you,
it.
girl. I love
No,
you.
I'm trying to figure it out. I'm like, look, because I'm trying to make sure I look the way you look. So I'm gonna have to do this inner child work because I don't need my trauma aging me. I ain't trying to be aged.
No, you not. No, you not. Well, it's such a pleasure. And thank you so much. And when we get out of the COVID bubble, I know we're just entering, I would definitely see it. Everybody, I love Green Believers. I say this all the time. Cheryl Branch is the only person that could ask me to do anything. And she knows I'm going to say yes. She absolutely knows that.
She
But
has
what
that impact on people.
she does. But what an incredible organization Green Believers is, helping people in the community with cannabis. And so if you're needing a support group, everybody out there, I definitely would suggest that you contact Green Believers.
Thank you. Look at she's so humble. This is her interview, y'all. She self-plug us. Lord have mercy. Oh, we don't deserve you, Toni. We don't deserve you.
Oh, you're so
actually,
funny.
we do deserve you because we deserve great things in life. There we
Oh,
go.
that's it. That's it. Thank you.
Well, you enjoy the rest of your day, Toni, and I'm so excited again for this interview. It will be posted later on today. I will send the link to you. Thank you.
Oh, thank you, love. All the best. Bye-bye.
I just be smoking an OG. I just be smoking an OG. I just be smoking an OG. These niggas don't really know me. I just be smoking an OG. I'm at the growing house, I got like 20 pigs. These niggas don't really know me. Designer weed, I just be smoking on OG. These niggas don't really know me. I'm at the grow house, I got like 20 pigs. I just be trying to stay low key. I just be trying to stay low key. I'm at the grow house, I got like 20 pigs. These niggas don't really know me. Designer weed.